Todd, how are you feeling?
Honestly, this is just like when we did Hereditary, except instead of being really scared, I'm very nervous.
Are you? Welcome to the Horror Virgin.
Oh my God.
I'm Clint.
I'm the Virgin Todd.
I'm Jenn, and I am taking over this podcast.
She is about to take this shit over because we just got done watching Assassination Nation.
Assassination Nation?
We
watched
Are you
Assassination
okay,
Nation.
I am not
Say
okay.
it proud.
I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to talk about this movie.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be fine.
I'm terrified.
Because here, okay, let me say, as a woman, I'm okay with you guys not liking this movie. That's fine with me.
We do not like this movie.
That was clear.
Yeah.
I watched it with you guys. I know you didn't like it. That's okay
Yeah, we
with
saw it
me.
in the theater.
We did see it in the theater.
We just saw it in the theater. Yeah, so, go see it because we're going to spoil the shit out of it, obviously.
What is this?
It's a Red Bull.
It's a Red Bull. It's
Bull.
French. It's French.
Hey, guys, if you can't read.
We're not doing the edible ad right now.
Oh, sorry. They already dropped us.
I have a confession, as I often do.
Uh-oh.
I almost left after 15 minutes because the way this movie was edited and designed, I almost left just because of that. So, and thankfully it stopped. It was just sort of like the first act of the movie was like that.
Yeah. Like, you mean like the tri-screen?
The frantic tri-screen, and everybody's over talking each other, and then there's a narrator on top of the tri-screen that's talking about the themes of the movie.
That it has gotten.
Okay.
Okay. So let me finish my point about how it is okay for you guys to not like this. Yeah. I didn't even take in the fucking floor. I got my nail gun. I'm ready to kick some shit.
You always have the floor. There's no one in this room that treats you like the men in that movie treated the women.
This is going to be a brief 45-minute show.
Oh, no, dude. I got some shit to say. I'm about to get all jangled up in here.
It's going to be Jenn talking and me and Clint going, yes,
correct.
What you said.
Hashtag matriarchy.
To be fair, the movie itself warned us. There's
That's
a trigger warning at the beginning.
Look, finish your point.
Because here's my point. Because you guys did not like it, but I know both of you very well. Yes. I know that you are good people. I know that you are good men.
I'm not as misogynistic as it sounds like on the podcast.
You were
Kate Dangerously doesn't get sarcasm.
Oh, man.
That's right.
You were definitely, and it's almost like we're all playing a role too.
Because I know that you guys are good people.
Okay.
I know that the reason you didn't like this movie is because you didn't like the way it was filmed, the way it was shot. You didn't like the parts of it. It's not because
I don't like the way it was written.
Right. Dialogue too.
I can talk about the criticisms of it.
It's not that you don't like it because you guys are misogynistic assholes. Because that's not true.
No,
correct. We just have a fear of coming off as misogynistic assholes.
Exactly.
Okay, I also want to say if we offend you, I am sorry.
We
are
really?
good people.
I mean, hopefully you'll understand if you've seen this movie, listeners. If you haven't seen the movie, go
listeners,
see the movie.
If you don't know how to talk to anybody about this movie, maybe this podcast is for you. You want me to punch it up a little
Todd,
bit?
Yeah, we got to punch that one up.
Todd,
you can't read.
Are you going to talk about this movie at the office tomorrow at all? Or are you just going to...
I have the day off tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Recover. We just go through this.
Let's go through this movie.
Okay. So this movie starts off with a trailer for the movie. Did you guys see that?
That's true, yeah.
I hated that. Like the first 3 minutes I was like, what is happening? Oh, and it also says in the very beginning of the movie that this is a true story.
True story.
No, it's not.
No.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, it was.
That you say this is a true story.
They decided to make a bunch.
I don't know how I can trust the movie again.
Well, it seems like they tried to make a bunch of
all
bold
movies true stories.
They are. What? They're all right behind you.
Blair Witch Project, Todd.
Huh?
The very first movie you saw, Blair Witch Project.
The
true
problem
story.
I did have with this movie was
Rachel,
the verisimilitude.
I gotta bleep that name because that was the movie that she was like, you know what, I'm never dating.
And if there's any episode that we can't leak people's names and information, it's this one. All right, but yeah, okay. Now I'll say the selfie culture at the beginning of this did bug me too. And every time they started talking, I was like, "Is that how people talk now?"
No, and it's an ugly, ugly movie.
Disagree.
I just mean
What do you mean by ugly?
I just mean thematically, it deals with
Oh,
all
yeah.
of the
Yeah, yeah.
ugly undertones
Yeah,
of
'cause I was about to
America.
say, I sort of
It
agree with
does.
that, but yeah.
And it immediately vomits onto the screen. Like there's no build up to it or anything. Like
Well,
it warns you. Like
yes,
and
this is what you're going to get, and it is
Yeah.
the trailer for the movie.
It is.
you know. And I
Well,
wonder
okay,
if I had seen if I had seen this movie before I'd seen that trailer, if
Yeah.
I would have thought that.
I don't know. But it is the teaser trailer. It's not the Red Band trailer we saw.
That's right.
It's just the teaser
I've just
trailer.
learned what red band trailers are.
Really?
so,
Really?
yeah,
You never
I
knew
don't
that?
know. Yeah,
Huh.
I thought they were all. I thought that just meant like I don't know.
No,
I don't
it's
have
like
any
an
idea
R-rated
what it
trailer,
meant.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
that it's
now
a
I know.
special trailer because it's
Yeah.
red.
Well, so I think the beginning of it, the reason that it looks like that and all the split screens is it's intentionally trying to recreate the internet, you know, and the feel of looking at all this stuff and having, like, how many screens do you have going on at your house at one time, you know?
That's fair, but
And,
I
like,
think
our-
they did a bad job of pulling that off.
I disagree. I
when
kinda
you-
liked
When
it.
you say that, I'm like, oh, I could sort of see that. But if it's going to be an effective way of doing that, someone shouldn't have to explain that to you.
No, that's true.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't.
From
I mean,
a
looking back on it,
filmmaking standpoint, parts of this movie are dumb.
Yeah.
It's just they tried to make a bunch of bold filmmaking decisions, and half of them didn't work.
Yeah, it's like, and all
And
of
they
this
don't-
shit.
and- yeah.
And all of the times we record, we all say 30 jokes that never work that we edit out of the
yes.
podcast because we swing for the
Mostly
fences.
Todd
Oh,
and Clint.
right.
Mine,
Oh,
I am 100%.
You have comedy word gold, but like we swing for the fences, and sometimes we
Yeah.
don't hit. But I feel like this
Mhm.
movie
And that's
was a
the beauty
bunch of
of
swings
editing.
for the fences that didn't get edited out. Like they were swinging for it, they were trying to make points, and they did make points.
I don't know if I think
should've-
it was swinging for the fences that didn't get edited out. I think some of it is things that didn't get followed through as much as I wished they would have. I think,
wanted more.
yeah. I think part of my problem was I had built this up in my mind. Like,
No,
Did you
she's
think?
been talking about this movie for
I have.
literally
Did you
2
think that?
months.
Let me ask you this: Did you think that what happened in the last, let's say, last 15 minutes? Did you think we were going to get an hour of that?
I did. I
Yes.
expected the last 15 minutes
Me
to be
too.
longer. I expected it to be way bloodier because I was told that it was going to be way
Yeah.
bloodier, and it was just the parts of it were very disturbing to me. they
Our
weren't
friend
kidding
Bobby,
about those trigger warnings.
Our friend Bobby that was sitting next to me, he kept turning because he hadn't seen a trailer, and he was like, "Where is the blood? Where are
Yeah.
the kills?"
Yeah.
Like, you know,
and it didn't come till the end.
it didn't.
But I mean, there were some kills. Like it wasn't.
There were.
I mean, there was one suicide. Let's just go through it.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
go
yeah.
through it.
Well, okay, and so let me say about the beginning of it, of the internet thing. I had read reviews about it, so I was prepared for that too.
Yeah.
So when I was watching that split screen, I knew it was coming. I knew what they were going to try to do with it. So I was already in that mindset, and it didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
The dialogue and the little vocal fry and the talking like this, that did bother me.
I mean, that part was very accurate. It's
No, I
just
agree.
annoying, and
Yeah,
it's
it
supposed
is.
to be annoying. It's
And-
supposed to be grating.
Right. And I feel like I am its target audience,
Yeah.
but maybe like 10
And
years younger than me.
maybe no
No.
one
is
else.
really the target audience.
No,
What'd
I
you
feel
say?
like you
And maybe no
are
one
its
else.
Oh
target
yeah,
audience.
and I think that's probably why I liked it a lot
Now
more than
the
you
range,
guys.
the range may go 10 years younger
Oh,
than
yeah,
you and
yeah.
10 years older, than you, but you are the target.
and they
audience.
were telling a high school story, and so I think that was how high school girls are. You know,
I
maybe
agree.
A
I don't
little
know.
over.
I don't hang out with high school girls, so I have no idea.
Todd wants to make that perfectly
many disclaimers
clear.
do we
I wanna
need to
go
add?
on the record that I don't hang out with high school girls. I'm not
For
like
every
Matthew
trigger
McConaughey.
warning in
and-
that trailer, Todd's
and
gonna have.
and
a
we have also
disclaimer.
not been texting any high school girls.
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the. That's a huge theme in the
Oh
movie.
yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what have you heard? No, but no, I
Your,
have
your
not.
data got leaked like 10
Oh
minutes
God.
ago.
My phone got hacked.
It's a real
guys.
gross.
I mean, really, the only thing you guys would find out if my phone got hacked was some really gross shit, but it wouldn't be anything crazy like that. I feel like I'm pretty open with how.
What do you
weird I
mean
am.
by gross shit?
Just like videos I watch.
Uh-huh.
It's like that time I went on your computer and found your notepad.
Oh yeah. I remember that day.
Oh, I remember that day too.
Todd accidentally pulled up some shit on my computer
This is
I
back when we were recording on his laptop.
yeah, and
that's right.
and so I have like this horrified look on my face, and Todd turns to me and he goes, "You have good taste."
Oh my goodness.
Let's just say Clint and I have similar taste in women
Okie doke.
Like electronic women.
and
Moving on.
porn.
Porn.
Porn. And I say
Porn.
porn
I'm not
because
sure what that is.
porn is it's a lot like porn,
anime
except
porn.
it's naked people setting up IKEA furniture.
Oh, really?
It's porn.
Is that
Nothing
real?
sexual about it.
I'm sure that exists somewhere, though.
Oh, I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, and then they sit on those chairs like
Ooh.
together.
Why does that chair have a hole in the crotch?
Gross. And that weird stain on it.
The
Yeah,
stain
that
is from something else.
Oh,
Wait, do you
dear.
think toilets are chairs, guys? Settle a bet for us. Are toilets chairs?
Can
mean,
you
they could
sit on
be.
them?
Can you shit on them?
The answer is yes. Jen, they seem to reference that the African American character and the white character that Todd is talking about were sisters?
They are.
They are
Okay.
sisters.
But they never explain.
They
Well,
never.
one might
Okay,
be
so
adopted. I
adopted
don't
or
really care.
something.
Because-
Okay.
right,
I'm on board for that.
exactly.
And I got
Okay.
very confused because she kept calling her mom also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm fine with that.
No, I am
That kind of
No,
shit
it's
doesn't bother
fine.
me
I
in
just got
movies.
confused. So,
What I am
okay.
less fine with is the fact that they really have no story at all. Like, we don't know. I
No.
didn't even know their names.
And
We
I
know-
had
read,
to
I
look them
read
up.
a couple of
Sarah and M.
I read a
Okay.
couple of snippets of reviews. They were complaining about that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
That
we only really get one, well, two.
No,
the transgender
yeah,
character
we
was
get the
fully
transgender
fleshed
character.
out.
Oh,
We get
yeah.
into the
Those
main
two,
character,
I
yeah.
think, were. They
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a lot more
Yeah.
agency
I cared
in the
about them
movie.
dying.
Yes.
But everybody
Oh, I
else,
cared
well, they don't
about them
actually die,
too.
but
They were very objectified in this movie. I think there was a lot of intentional in your
I
face
think it was supposed
male
to be. Yeah,
gaze.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think to make a point.
That's one of the
about
trigger
that.
warnings at the beginning.
It
even
is.
labeled at the beginning, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, and I don't think it is too objectified.
And listen,
to girls.
I'm
I think it
into
is
the
too-
male gaze. I'm into it.
You are a male with eyes.
I have
right?
a
Yeah.
Angel Fire page.
Yeah. You have a whole blog not written about it. Because it doesn't exist yet.
Lily, Bex, Sarah, and M. Sarah
Lily's
and
the
M
main
are
character
sisters.
and Bex is the trans girl.
Yes.
And those are the two characters I remember.
Yes. Are we going to get in trouble if we call her the trans girl?
What I don't know what else to call her.
Let's just call her Lily and Bex.
Well, I mean, we can, but I want to set that up. That
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
she is transgender.
But I don't
by
know if
choice. And
that's
the
not
movie is not
derogatory,
trying
right?
to hide this. No.
No, yeah,
And
yeah,
she's
yeah.
very open about it. And this is a good thing about the movie, too, is that she is a trans actress, too.
Oh,
like
yeah?
they actually chose
That's pretty
instead
cool.
of choosing a cisgender actress.
Like,
Cis
it's
is
fine.
somebody who
Whatever.
identifies with the gender they were born
Right.
with. Yes, and so instead of choosing somebody who is cisgender, they chose a trans actress, which is great. So the girls are friends. They're hanging out. They're texting stuff. They got boyfriends. They go to parties.
They're in school.
Yeah, they wear lots of really tight, really skimpy clothes.
They do.
Um,
And honestly, I don't,
very open about sexuality
Yes.
too.
there aren't many bras
Yeah.
in this movie.
No, there are
No.
not.
Just going to say that up front.
And this is the first time you have said anything about it. Of course, we were at the theater.
Like that's ever stopped me
I know.
before.
I was surprised.
Spoil-
that I didn't hear
I'm going to be
anything
honest
about
with you. I didn't find any of the women in this movie attractive.
Did you not?
Not
That's
one.
good because they're super young.
That's true.
These actresses are at least mid-20s, but
You're
I can
probably
look it
right.
up.
You're probably
they're
right.
not super hot.
It's established pretty early on that we're getting some text conversations
Yes.
through Lily's phone.
Mhm.
We have
From
two conversations
Daddy.
going on. One from her boyfriend.
Mark.
The other,
Mark.
Mark, I was close.
Yes.
the
But I'm
other
gonna
from
call
somebody
him,
named Daddy, and we don't know
I'm
who
gonna
it
call him
is.
Yeah,
Bill.
we do.
Yeah.
I knew who Daddy was the first time
Oh,
we
yeah.
saw it on the phone.
I did too.
It's fucking dirty ass Joe McHale.
Yeah.
By
With
the
his
way,
smirky
Well,
smirk.
because
I
Joel
love
McHale's
Joel
like the
McHale.
Oh,
only
I did
name
too.
actor in
Hilarious.
this.
Yeah, you're right.
And you're like, it has to be him.
You're
Right.
right. Well, I mean, and she was also the babysitter, and this movie is not like one of those things that's going to be. It's not trying to be clever. It's trying to beat you over the head with its message. So
Yes.
it's definitely going to
So
be.
you know it's gonna be
It's definitely going to be Joel McHale.
the father
yeah.
of the.
And
right,
I don't think
okay.
they were really trying to hide it that much. I don't
Me
think they
either.
were trying to make
Me
it a
neither.
big
I
reveal.
Yeah,
mean,
you
I-
kept saying shocker.
Right.
Well,
And I was
Whenever
like,
somebody
well,
took
yeah.
off a
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah, because it's not a surprise.
Dun, dun,
Anytime
dun.
someone, even the very end when they reveal who the hacker was, I called that the first time we saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, because his smirky smirk like revealed himself to be a weirdo in the trailer to this movie that I'd seen before I'd even seen
I
it.
didn't see that, or I didn't remember that,
Yeah.
but
oh yeah, but the second you see him like looking at her and giving her those extra looks, you know something's up with that.
I'm not saying Joel McHale is a pervy dad, but
No, he played one very
yeah,
well though.
he did
He's
a
played
good job
pervs
at this.
before.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
has
show.
he?
Yeah.
I
He kind of
haven't-
played a perv in Ted. I guess
haven't
he's
seen a
not
whole
a
lot of Joel
perv,
McHale
but
stuff.
He's just a bad dude.
he's just an asshole.
Pretty almost immediately the mayor's all of his information gets
Yes.
hacked.
but
which kickstarts this
it's
whole
after we
thing.
establish the main characters, right?
Yes,
so we
it
know
is
who
after
Joel
we
McHale
establish
is.
the main characters.
We know the texts are coming through from Mark and Daddy. Daddy being Joel McHale. We know her boyfriend doesn't go down on her.
Yeah, we know Bill
yeah,
doesn't
so,
wanna-
so it does a decent job establishing all the main characters, but then pretty much immediately the hack starts.
Yes, the
and
hack.
there's a character who's almost inconsequential, and I forget his name. He's
I-
only in like 2 or 3
Computer
scenes.
Club dude.
Yeah, so like he
That's what
gets sent
IMDb,
the file,
IMDb
right?
called him.
Was that him? Because I
Yes.
got very
Yes.
confused. I couldn't remember if
Yes.
that was the actual
It is.
brother.
No.
So it's not the brother. Is this the guy in the bathtub that
This
they
is
tried
the
to
guy in the
torture?
bathtub,
This is the guy in the
Okay,
bathtub. Well,
thanks.
they torture and then eventually kill, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, we're going to get to that. The brother, who we don't know is the hacker, the
Okay.
brother sends the file to that guy, and then that guy
And that
sends it
guy's
to
like, oh,
everybody.
shit.
To everybody, okay.
And they find out the principal's like a transvestite.
He enjoy what is the technical word for that? Yeah, he enjoys wearing women's lingerie.
I love Eddie Izzard,
he's,
and Eddie Izzard is a transvestite. He's one of my favorite comics, but he refers to himself as a transvestite, so that's like my litmus test on what's okay to say.
Well, some very offensive.
So that's what I would call him.
Some offensive characters in the movie started referring to him as like the tranny mayor, which is incorrect.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listeners, if there is a term that we should be using,
correct me,
please
'cause
let us know. And that's one reason I love My Favorite Murder. It's because listeners will write in and they'll tell them things. That's how I know that you don't say attempted suicide, or you say completed suicide instead
you don't
of
say attempted.
And look, and one thing that I've had to learn recently,
I also learned that Karen can get it.
Oh yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Karen's awesome. George is pretty cool too.
I like George too. I just like I don't know what it is, but like female comics are like a blind spot for me.
Yeah. Well, and George is married too.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I've learned too is that I am going to inadvertently offend somebody in something that I say if I say enough words. So if I offend you,
if I
I'm
say
sorry.
enough words.
And the problem
That sounded like you were like challenging yourself to do it.
Like, as I see it, the problem is not that I offend people. The problem is when I cannot accept that I have offended people and either change the way that I say things or like make amends for that offense.
Yeah, like
and
I've been
change
trying
my
to not
behavior.
say the word retarded very much anymore, even though it's like used to be one of my go-to
Right,
words.
because
Especially
it's
when
an
people are
offensive
really
word
stupid.
now.
Yeah. So can we call him the transvestite mayor? Like I don't know what we're allowed to call
Let's
him.
call him
he's
the
about to be
disgraced
dead,
mayor.
so we don't really have to
so
worry
the
about it.
disgraced mayor, and the only reason it's a big deal is because he ran on what I would call
Family
like
values.
the family
Family
values.
Yes.
Well, I think the
Yeah.
movie even calls it that.
They did, yeah.
So he's like a father and married. I think he's a father of 3 or whatever.
Yes.
And Bex lets us know after he kills himself
Yes.
that the
that
mayor
he's
killed
a hypocrite
himself.
and he's trying to oppress people that are in same-sex relationships.
So we don't see that, but Bex does tell us
exactly.
that. Right.
Yes, and so she doesn't have pity for him because
Which I sort of get.
I do too. I understand.
It's like
you
when
know?
all these, not all these being all of them, but a lot of super Christian, like super mega church pastors have like been discovered as like leading secret gay lives. I sort of
Being
laughed to
on
myself
Ashley
because it's sort of funny. Oh yeah, so it's sort of funny, but like it is. You know, you don't want anyone to kill themselves because
exactly because there's nothing wrong with what he's doing as long as he's not. I mean, he's married, so his wife might think there's something wrong with it. But if he's not hurting anybody, there's nothing wrong with dressing how you want to dress and doing what you want to do.
I will say there's something wrong with making it hard for other people.
Oh, exactly. That is what is wrong with it. Is
politically,
being a hypocrite
it is
in
that is
that
the
way.
hypocritical part
and
of it.
trying to oppress.
Hey,
other
Jen,
people.
can I ask Clint something real quick?
Yeah.
How cool was it when he shot himself in the head?
It was pretty fucking sweet.
It was
Dude.
honestly pretty well done.
Sweet.
It was,
yeah.
and that's when I thought, oh shit, this is going to be a bloody movie.
Was that
And
the one where the blood actually flew onto the camera,
I think
like
so,
blocked the
yeah.
shot?
No,
Yeah.
I
I tried
sure
not to
you
get
see
hard.
through it
I don't
for
like
like 2
jerking off to
seconds.
suicide.
I'm
It's just
pretty sure
weird.
you see through it for like 2 seconds. But I called that going into it.
I should have been nervous about
Oh,
that.
my
I leaned
God.
over to Seth, who was next to me, and I was like, "Oh, he's about to chew on a gun."
But-
so he kills himself.
He kills
and
himself.
then we cut to, like the girls
and
in a
he's
pool
standing
talking
in
about
front of the. So this whole
It's like a
movie
press
is
conference.
it is a press conference,
Yeah.
but we don't see any faces. All we see is the light shining on
And
him.
just the
it's like he's
shouting
standing in
and-
front of a firing squad.
We don't
Yeah.
see faces until that same scene happens with the principal, which we'll get to.
Exactly,
Yes.
and even then we don't see clear faces. But okay, so
That's
this
fair.
is this is a reimagining of the Salem witch trials, and I think that they are two of the first like sacrifices of this whole thing. You know, they're the ones who
Interesting.
are going. That's kind of what I saw.
I don't think it got to the reimagining of the Salem witch trials until almost the very end.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Ladies.
I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
question.
what's up?
When we get to the principal and he walks out on the stage, did you really think he was going to kill himself
Yeah.
also? Because that would have
Yeah.
been hilarious. No?
Yeah, I was-
Oh, sorry. When the principal did.
When
Okay,
the principal
well,
walked off,
let-
I thought he was going to do the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
I didn't. Well, because so it cuts to the girls in the pool talking about the mayor. That's when you find out that the mayor was like ran on family values and was a
Yes.
hypocrite and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then pretty quickly, the principal's information gets leaked. Oh, the
Yes.
scene where the principal's talking to Lily, the main character.
That's
Yes,
how he
that
gets
happens,
introduced.
because she's
Yeah.
apparently a really talented
artist.
Artist,
Although that
yes.
never
Porn
comes
artist.
back. But
doesn't.
yeah, porn artist.
Okay,
yeah.
here's why I think this scene exists in this movie.
Oh,
is-
I have thoughts on this too, but go.
And I was talking to my husband on the way home from the theater about this too, because I think there's so much male gaze and there's so much talk about how women only exist to be objectified and how all of society wants women to look this certain way and be this certain thing. And I think this scene exists to show that not all men are like that.
Yeah.
Because this principal is actually talking to her about her potential and saying, you know, I don't think this is wrong, but I think you're a little too young
Yeah,
for
so-
it. I don't think you totally understand all of the ramifications of all of this. And I think that's why, because I think the principal is a good man, and I felt really bad for him.
I think you're reading into it more than I did, which you're probably prone to do in any situation, but also
She's smarter
in this
than
movie.
you.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, for me, I was like, ha ha, ha, she drew titties.
Okay. But because of the trigger warnings.
I think this scene exists, if for nothing else, to show that the principal isn't a bad dude.
Yes,
exactly.
And because of the trigger warnings of the movie, I thought just maybe this scene was going to take a turn. Where he was going to come on to her.
Oh, yeah.
And
I thought for 1 second you were going to see like him unzip his pants or
And
some
I
shit
think,
like that.
Again, it's to show that not all men are like that, and they are capable of talking to women without objectifying them and without trying to assault them.
Sometimes with microphones, am I right?
I think what you meant to say was...
What you meant to say was women only exist for our pleasure.
Well, yeah.
You can't agree with me when I say backward ass shit like that. Okay, so anyway, that scene ends.
Kate's gonna get
but
up all
pretty
up
much
on the
after
Minzies.
that scene, the next consequential thing that I remember is the principal getting hacked and him talking to, I guess, his wife.
Yes, the next thing that happens is that the principal gets hacked and is talking to his wife. And oh my gosh, and then you see his kids at the top of the stairs and their hands down. And they're like, what have we said? What have we done? Because they really haven't done anything.
Yeah. And he's immediately labeled as a pedophile. That was the big thing because he had pictures of his kids very young, right? They were
6 and a half.
Okay, so it's like right on that line, I guess, of people ran with the pedophilia immediately.
Because they just wanted to find something, and
they do talk about that, but
dude, and the part where she was like talking about how they were texting about the miscarriage too, and how he couldn't make amends with his dad. I was like, fuck you.
I missed that. There's so much happening.
They were taking they couldn't find anything, so they were just grasping at all these things and trying to blow everything out of proportion because now they know this thing about this person and he's just become a victim and they're just going to go for it, So they're at the dinner table and they're talking about this and they're talking about how these are not sexual pictures, and she's asking the dad, well, didn't you give me baths? And he's like, no, after 2 I didn't want to touch you,
or didn't want to see you naked.
I didn't want to see you
and
naked.
Then she was to the point, well,
I did love that
daughter,
scene where she's like, why?
I know, because as a mom I was like, okay, so I guess he just didn't help at all after she turned 2 because he can't handle his weird feelings.
She had some great lines about how nudity doesn't equal sexuality.
Exactly, and how the people that are watching it are the ones that are making it sexual. And I think that's the point of it being so overly sexual, this movie. Like, he's really just throwing the male gaze in our faces and saying, you're the one that's sexualizing them. They are just wearing things they want to wear. Maybe he's just really hot, and that's why they want to wear short shorts.
Do you see that when they were at the table and she was talking to her dad, the light behind him that was like haloing him?
Oh, was it?
Was it
no, I didn't
Jesus?
notice that.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Jesus up in his grill?
Well, no,
Dude.
but it is like some religious iconography.
Yeah, I can
like
see that. He also reminded me of the dad from Stranger Things, too.
He is the dad from Stranger
yeah.
Things.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he the actor? Okay.
Well, there you
that's
go.
why.
That's why he reminds you of it.
Yeah, well, he's got a type,
Yeah. So anyway, then the next scene is that scene where the principal goes out on the same stage that the
Oh God,
mayor
that was
killed
so
himself on.
painful to watch.
I know. It was like,
This scene was where it started to jump the shark for me, to use a TV reference.
This is a movie, Todd.
I know.
This is
but
a movie podcast.
It was just
Todd.
silly. Like the whole
disagree.
lock him up. Was
it was
like
very
so
on the nose.
They
were not, and that's one thing that I liked about this movie. And a lot of the reviews that I've read is that it was so on the nose. It just said everything. It didn't try to hide anything.
Sure.
And a lot of the reviews I read was like, well, maybe it's time to stop hiding things and stop like putting things in like secret messages and just say these fucking things.
Well, there's so many comparisons to the Purge series, which does the exact same thing, right down to the masks that they were wearing.
I've never seen the Purge, so I can't. Yeah.
Okay, but you never
I haven't seen the
previews?
first Purge, but I saw.
Yeah, I have seen previews.
I
Some of the
saw
sequels.
Election Year, and I enjoyed Election Year. It was clearly written before the 2016 election.
Yeah.
And it was not trying to hide its message at all, and I don't think this movie was either. I think this movie was more successful for me than the Purge Election Year.
They were just really they were really painting it on thick, and I hate when a movie does that. It's just,
I didn't mind it in this one.
I'm just like, oh, I feel like I'm being lectured to by my parents. That's like, it makes me feel that way. And it's not because of subject matter.
No, I know.
Like any movie that does that. Like we were talking before we started recording about Ayn Rand. Like I hate Ayn Rand because that's the way she writes.
Okay, so here's why I did not mind the just in your face message, and because I feel like I am the target audience for this. This movie was written for me. It wasn't written for men.
I feel like it was written specifically for
Do you know
Yes,
the
exactly.
guy?
No,
the,
dude.
The man that wrote this movie.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute, too.
I don't think it's an actual man. I think that's Jenn's pen name.
You know?
Oh my God.
You know what? First name Sam.
That has been leaked. I've removed my mask.
The first name is Sam, so we should check on that.
Oh yeah.
That is my code name, although I've just revealed it to everyone. So
Now you're gonna have to change it.
So here's
You're about
why.
to get doxxed.
I know. Here's why it doesn't bother me though, because I feel like women have and we have talked about this, how when you say things about the patriarchy or when you say things about how women are treated, women feel like we have to say it in just the right way so that men will hear it, or we have to say it with this sugar coating on top so they won't think that we're angry.
And what do I tell you when you
women.
tell me that?
Stop talking.
That.
And that's when I get my nail gun.
We talk about
man.
this through text all the time.
We do, yeah.
And I tell you to stop it. Like, you don't
Right,
do any of that
exactly.
shit. Just do what a white man would do.
That's
Just
true.
fuck it and say whatever you want.
And so that's why this movie was refreshing to me.
Sure.
Because I felt like it wasn't trying to hide its message. It wasn't trying to like make it look pretty and like put it in a package that men would accept. I think it was just saying, you know what, just say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I liked it and I didn't have a problem with it.
Cool.
Ordinarily, I do not like it when things are on the nose, but you know.
Oh,
yeah.
but in that scene where he's they're shouting "lock him up" or whatever, he tries to explain that the pictures
And
weren't
he said-
sexual and he's not a
yes.
pedophile.
And he says,
or
"I'm
whatever.
not abandoning these kids,"
Right,
which
and
I really admired.
He's not going to resign.
Yeah.
And he doesn't resign.
he
We see him
doesn't.
later. That's sort of the end of his story. We don't really see him much anymore
Yeah,
after
we
that.
don't.
Yeah, that was
but we
odd.
see him going to work the next day because remember Lily's walking.
think
Oh,
that's
yeah, she tries to
before.
talk to
No,
him.
Lily says hello to him,
and
on
he
the way in the
doesn't. He
next day.
ignores
Yeah,
her.
He ignores her,
Yeah.
but he's going to work.
Because it looks like he's about
doing
to
his job.
cry, which, yeah.
I would probably be
I would
really
too.
upset as
I
well.
feel like in real life he wouldn't have a choice. Like the school board would make
they
him step
definitely
down.
I don't
like
know.
I,
I think
you know.
he could easily sue them if they forced him to resign.
I
I think that's probably why they wouldn't. They would try to
Probably.
talk him into it, which is what they did.
did, yeah.
But I think if he didn't want to and if he refused, I don't know if they could do anything about it.
I don't know either.
They might
but
try. So, and then, okay, let's talk about the boyfriend and the daddy. Because Bill Skarsgård, who I love now.
Didn't
'Cause he was awesome on Castle Rock.
He bothered me the whole movie because
Did
I
he?
couldn't. No, I just didn't know he was Bill Skarsgård. I'm
Oh,
like, where
yeah?
have I seen this guy before?
Pennywise.
I got that.
Yeah,
when I saw
although
his
he
name.
wasn't wearing his clown makeup, so that's
I have
probably-
never
he
seen him
wasn't
without his
eating any
makeup.
children. Well,
No. So
He
and
did at
creepy
one
in real
point.
life too.
he's
ever.
also in Hemlock Grove, which is the fucking dumbest
Oh,
show I've ever
yeah.
sat through. It's
I bailed on
so
that about halfway through the
fucking
first
bad.
season. Yeah.
It is so bad. But the boyfriend's sort of just a bad dude. You can sort of see he's a
just
bad
kind of,
dude.
Yeah, and I loved the scene where she's talking about why she fell in love with him, and he was the first man that ever made her feel wanted.
this is
and loved.
where
and then
he's
like,
like-
"Fuck you, Lily.
Yeah, in
You're
the
a
middle of
slut,
this
you're a
fight.
whore.
So-
you think you're special?"
But
And I
she's
love how
doing
they keep cutting
she's
that.
doing the first person to make me feel loved or whatever. That's like a voiceover while he's like yelling
Yeah,
at
like,
her
yes,
or whatever.
because he will not go down on her.
Well, no, he did in the scene.
He
the
did,
scene, like,
but-
after
okay,
that,
but
or that
before-
scene. I think he
and-
was in
Well, yeah,
that
when you
scene.
challenge his ego, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Apparently they're on the rocks, which is why she's kind of sexting this other guy. And
You
she's
mean Daddy?
Yeah, Daddy. And she's talked about how he actually listens to what she says, and nobody's ever asked her questions like this. So I think we can kind of imply that he doesn't care too much about her. I think he just kind of wants
Well,
a
he's
girlfriend.
he's in high school.
Exactly.
Like, high school guys are
Right.
fucking
He's just
dumb.
kinda-
And I say that as someone who is probably the mental equivalent of a high school guy still.
Right.
So, like, we're dumb. So in that scene, he, like, loses his shit. And then he being Mark, the boyfriend, loses
Yes.
the shit and is yelling at her in the voiceover about how she never felt love before him and all that stuff. It's like
because
all
she
the
has
sweet
shamed
stuff
her.
in
Bex has
voiceover.
mentioned that he asking him specifically, "Do you ever go down?" So it's very clear
Oh,
that
and
she's
Bex
told
does.
everybody
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she
yeah.
won't, that he
Yeah.
won't do it. Yeah.
But that's when he goes off to the other room and she follows, or maybe she goes off and he follows.
Yeah,
And that's where the
yeah.
fight happens.
She says she has to go to the bathroom, and then what did you say? You're like, "Pardon me, I gotta
Oh,
go."
yeah, well, because
That was funny.
Lily says I have to go to the bathroom, and then he gets up immediately and doesn't say anything but walks off. And I lean over to Seth, who I'm just trying to make laugh the whole movie because I'm uncomfortable, and I go, "Excuse me, I have to go eat some pussy."
Yeah. Which is accurate.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean,
So
I called it.
okay, but let me ask you guys a question, because if you are not going down on your girlfriend, how is that a blow to the guy's ego?
It wasn't a blow
Wouldn't
to
that
the.
be
It
more
wasn't
of
a blow to the
girl's
guy's ego until she
know, man.
shamed him in front of other men.
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
then it becomes an
Then
ego
he
thing.
just didn't want to do it, I guess,
No.
before, and then now he's like a bad boyfriend because he doesn't.
He is a
Straight up
bad boyfriend because he
sociopathic.
doesn't do
horrible,
it.
Well-
horrible boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pennywise wouldn't put up with that shit.
no, Pennywise
He
would
gets-
eat
Dude,
that
although
puss.
I don't want Pennywise eating anything around
I mean, I've
me.
never seen the movie, so I can just
Well-
picture Tim Curry going down on chicks. And I'm into it.
Oh,
I've seen the Rocky Horror Picture
such
Show.
a pleasure.
So anyway, Mark is yelling at her in that scene.
Yes.
And then eventually he I'm sorry, I'm drunk, and they sort of make up or whatever, and he pops the seal
because they've shamed
Gross.
and she unlocks the vault
because
Gross.
she started crying.
Yeah.
And
because her boyfriend is like,
he's like, don't fucking cry, bitch.
because she's being a dick.
I'm sorry. Because he's being a dick.
You might have said that right. I might have heard you wrong.
No,
I was
I don't know.
She was not being a dick.
She wasn't being a dick.
And we
was,
got to get to the super weird part of this scene, which is they are across the
making
street
eye contact
from
with Daddy.
Well, but no, because here's one of the points I think the movie is trying to make is that he is attracted to her because she wears all of this stuff, and she.
When you say he is attracted to her, who are you referring to?
The boyfriend. Well, everybody.
Sure,
all of the
fair.
people that are objectifying her or trying to sleep with her in this movie are attracted to her.
Are you referring specifically to Daddy in this?
No, I'm talking about Bill Skarsgård in this movie. Or in this moment. She is and when she talks to the principal, she says, we have to put so much work into our appearance because that's what people value us for. That's how we get love. That's how we're told that we are deserving of love. And so that's part of how she got this boyfriend, and he has admired all those things about her, and now he's shaming her for them. So as soon as it makes him feel like less of a man, then it's her fault, and she's acting like an idiot, and she looks stupid and wearing her little shorts. But I bet he loves those shorts when he's watching her and he's not feeling like
I mean, his ego was attacked, and he clearly started lashing out to her so that he could feel superior.
Exactly. And that's, I think, the bigger point of this movie is that we are telling these girls this is what you're supposed to be, and as soon as we're confronted with that not being cool for us to think, we blame them. And it's their fault for wearing slutty stuff, not our fault for sexualizing them.
Sure.
How was your date last night, buddy?
It was fine. They go great. So anyway, while Mark is going down on his girlfriend Lily, Lily looks out the window and sees fucking what's his name?
He texts her and says, "I can see you," and so she's like,
and that's when
kind of getting horny off of him watching.
I don't think she really wanted to sleep with Bill Skarsgård anymore. I think she was just trying to put on a show for Daddy.
Yeah,
do you think she wanted to have sex with Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she can't.
No.
But I don't think that she would have continued anything with Bill Skarsgård if she had not known that he was watching her. Like, I don't think her
I agree.
I don't think her intent was to have a connection with her boyfriend. I think the intent was for this other dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Which I think is important because he had just made her feel like a bag of shit.
The way it was shot made me laugh, so I just focused on the comedy of the scene. And
the lighting got very weird in this scene, where like the lights automatically cut off in the bedroom, and then the floodlights come on at Daddy's house, and I'm like, what's going on?
Well, the first time you see him like from far away, and he's just like looking, like leering out the window, and it literally made me laugh. I was like,
yeah, it was kind of funny.
Silly.
There were moments of humor in this, I think.
I don't think that was meant to be funny. And then Daddy's wife walks in the room.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm busy.
He's like, yeah. He like stops his motion for a minute until she.
He wasn't jerking off.
No, not yet.
Well, no.
But like he is looking back out as he says, "Love you, good night."
What was the babysitter, man?
I don't get that.
I don't know. It's a young girl in your house doing things your wife does. That's what it is.
See, I don't have a wife, nor do I have kids, so I've never had like a babysitter. But like that's never been a thing for me.
Really?
I don't know. I don't get that at all. I don't even like dating chicks that are like much younger than me because I'm like, what are we going to talk about? Like,
if she can't finish in West Philadelphia, she's too young for you.
Agreed.
Also, if she doesn't have books, don't.
Yeah,
date
like
her.
if I ever date, like go on like on a first date, I'll be like in West Phila. And if they don't immediately, not only they have to know the lyrics, but also be really into it and theatrical while singing
pizzazz.
it, or I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm like at the door. I'm like, and if it's not awesome, I'm leaving.
And look, knowing your personality, that's honest. That's that kind of person.
That's
you need.
me being me. Oh, exactly. Also, she has to be a slut. No, I'm just joking. I think I missed the point of this movie, Jen.
Yeah, I think so.
I got set up on
emergency patriarchy lunch for tomorrow.
Patriarchy nightcap immediately.
Also at this party, Bex and this guy named Diamond are hooking up. He's been secret.
That's actually a
texting
different
her.
party that we kind of skipped.
Yeah,
but
the
well.
Party, look, the beginning, it's all like a haze of like selfies.
There's a lot of
stuff.
partying going on. Yeah.
But you're right. Diamond does get hard as a diamond.
Yeah.
And have very quick sex with Bex. Yeah.
And then immediately, I guess, is filled with shame.
Yeah,
is what it looks like.
I don't know. So like this. I don't know. This felt to me like someone who like wanted to have sex with somebody and maybe sort of okay with who they are. Like I didn't get. I don't know. I didn't feel like he was.
You think he was just being a high school boy?
Yes,
yeah.
I think
okay.
so.
I just think he was like, we can't talk about this. We can't talk about this because I think he knows that his friends would be not okay with him having sex with Bex
and he
because
was right
Bex
to
is an
think
assist
that.
woman,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So, but I don't think, and I think maybe I'm reading into that because now I saw him at the end and he sort of has a redemption at the end.
Exactly. Because I do think that he likes her, and I think that, I mean, it's consensual sex.
It
you know,
is. It is.
Sounds like they both enjoy it.
But
Bex
Bex was super sad when she realized that he doesn't want anyone to know and like they can't.
Yeah.
So But
I don't think it's because he doesn't like Bex. I think it's because of the pressure that he would feel because he's an athlete. You know, he's like
there's some machismo tied up in that.
Some toxic masculinity.
I know that there was
think
something about
related.
overinflated egos.
Yeah, toxic masculinity. Like the locker room scene where they were all broing out.
God, I hate that fucking scene.
You hate that fucking scene, and I hate that fucking scene because I hated Chads like that in high school.
Chads.
I fucking hated them.
Chads.
Because you were a nerd and I was in band.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
these are the guys that picked on
us. In that scene, I was like, fuck these dudes.
Hey, you want me to get you some raincoats? We'll just wreck some shit.
So Bex and Diamond have sex.
Right,
Diamond tells
right.
Bex they can't tell anyone, and Bex is on board for that, even though it makes her real sad, which I completely get.
It seems like she's not on board with that at all.
No, but
that's
a high school girl thing. You have to pretend that you are so that they'll want to hook up with you again.
That's what I mean. Like when he leaves is when she starts crying
because she
immediately
thinks
about
she's going to eventually be able to wear him down and hang on long enough that he'll want to admit that he really likes her. And I think she also can tell that he really likes her and that it's just like society. And so maybe if like they can stay together until college, then maybe they can move somewhere more accept. Anyways, this is all
had
going
their
on
whole
in her
life
head.
planned out.
Because that's what high school girls do. That's why you convince yourself. That's why you don't just say fuck you. Why won't you tell your friends we're together? I'm not sleeping with you anymore. That's why high school girls don't do that.
She very well could have done that.
She could have, and it maybe 10 years later would have.
Well, I mean, or after that one experience would change her mind about the whole thing and do the same thing. Although ultimately, because of his redemption, I think he does get a redemption at the end.
Exactly.
They don't have to. Anyway,
right.
So
He dies, right?
No. He doesn't.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He ran off to the side.
Yeah.
This is
right
one
when
of
all the shooting was going
silliest
on.
moments in the movie.
Yeah.
We'll
get there.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
The next scene of consequence I remember is the two cops interrogating the guy who was originally sent the file for the
Curly
mail.
hacker, I'll call him.
Curly-haired hacker. Although he's not really a hacker. He just got the file from the hacker.
He's
and
a
then emailed
copy-paster.
He is a copy-pasta person.
Curly copy pasta. Curly pasta.
Curly
There
pasta.
we
Nailed
go.
it.
Boom.
You found it. All right, guys, we found the joke. So anyway, the cops are interrogating him, and he says some things that are then later construed
Yeah, like,
into,
are you a member of Antifa?
Not Antifa, Anonymous.
Anonymous, which
Antifa
I didn't.
is a different thing.
No, I know.
So he's like openly saying he's not a member of Anonymous, but he's a fan of what they do.
Exactly.
Right.
Is Anonymous a real thing?
Yes, Anonymous is absolutely a real thing.
Okay, I don't know why I was thinking it was just like from Mr. Robot.
No, it's
Anonymous
not from
is a
Mr.
real
Robot. In fact, Mr. Robot steals from Anonymous a lot
Does
in the
Anonymous
sense that they
know?
use a lot of Anonymous things.
Yeah.
No, I think
Like, they
Anonymous
don't say their
probably
names.
likes it.
No credits.
The masks that is in Mr. Robot is a nod to the Guy Fawkes mask that the Anonymous uses.
Oh, yeah?
So
Remember.
I don't think Anonymous is mad that they're using it.
Yeah.
It's just like an homage to Anonymous.
But so I'm not crazy for thinking that was something from Mr. Robot.
No.
I just don't live
I
in
have
the
a
world
random
enough
Mr.
to know.
Robot question. The lead on that show, is that the guy playing Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, Remy
Christian
Because I
Slater,
wondered
too?
that earlier.
Remy Malek.
I love Freddie Mercury.
Me too. Best frontman ever.
He's kind of fucking with the cops,
Yeah, he
too.
is.
He's like, ooh, well, I would hate for your stuff to be hacked and
Exactly,
released.
exactly.
Which is so stupid on his part.
Oh, it's real dumb.
And he pays the price for it, too.
He does.
I
But
mean,
during that
they
scene-
basically prove that. And this really doesn't make any sense because what happens is in the middle of this interrogation, more hacks come out while he's
like
sitting with them.
17,000 people's.
So that proves his innocence.
It does.
And I
So-
love the cop
Yeah.
like just puts his hands in his
Yeah.
face. He's like,
Yeah.
I've got so much more shit to deal with now.
But later in the
that.
movie, didn't the Joel McHale, when he kidnapped him and they have him in the bathtub, don't they say they got the footage from that interrogation?
Yes.
And they
Yes,
were like,
I think it
so,
was transcript, but yeah.
but
Yeah.
clearly it
Yeah.
wasn't him because he was.
It definitely wasn't
It
him.
was weird.
Yeah,
it
but
was
I mean,
weird.
I think they're a little past logic.
Yeah.
But
They're mob mentality at that point. We'll get to that.
yeah. So all of this data is released, and the girls' data is not hacked, and I think that's important.
It is. None
no.
of the 4 girls are hacked.
The 4 girls are not hacked.
Right,
That's
but
right.
people they are involved with are hacked.
And
Like
people-
Daddy,
yes.
Joel McHale, a.k.a. Daddy, gets hacked.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna say daddy.
I think they
daycare.
kept
And
saying
she is-
50% of town at this point.
Yeah, it's half of the
Right.
town.
70,000,
17,000
yeah.
people. So Daddy gets hacked, and he he has received a lot of dirty ass selfies without her face in them.
Yes, but it's pretty clear. They're pretty quickly able to figure out who this is.
Yes, and that's why Mark confronts her. But also Diamond gets hacked too, which is important because that's where the toxic masculinity comes in.
Yeah, and that's how they know that he is hooked up with Bex, because they're seeing all of these texts from her between the two of them.
Why do these high school characters care about the file of this random dad that lives in their town?
Because what else are they going to care about?
Because he's getting a lot of naked well, maybe not naked, but like pornographic.
Well, and maybe it's not the high school kids. Maybe it's that mom's age group friends care about that, because, I mean, she obviously would care about it, and it just has filtered down because it's clearly a high school girl, and so maybe I mean, I don't think it's a stretch that it would filter down to high school.
Well, and also, Joel McHale texts Lily almost immediately after the hack happened, saying his wife and daughter left.
Yes, and so then.
But did he kill them?
No,
it was also
no. I think
they just left.
Well, no, there was a body in his bathtub.
I know
already.
was that the
curly
hair?
Oh, okay. Because I thought they took him to a different location than his house.
Yeah.
They killed him somewhere else, so I was confused.
But I don't think they show clearly enough. Like that's what I thought.
Okay,
I don't think it was the mom.
No, it was definitely.
I thought maybe
that
it
boy.
was.
Yeah.
Because you can see his hair. The mom had long hair. You could see that.
I thought maybe it was his kid.
I know it's wrapped in. No, that kid was way too young. Like the kid was probably 4 or 5.
Okay.
And the boy in the tub was probably 17.
Yeah. 17, 18.
Moving on.
Yeah. So everybody has realized that Lily is the one.
Not everyone, because Mark doesn't know if his girlfriend has a birthmark on her back.
He knows enough. He knows.
Oh, but he wanted confirmation.
He did. He wanted to publicly shame her with confirmation.
And does.
Yeah. Oh,
in a very pseudo-rapey way.
This was a hard scene for me to watch because it was very.
Yeah, I mean,
it was tough. It was tough.
It was.
And I thought, and there was a trigger warning at the beginning about rape, and I kept dreading the rape scene, and I didn't know which one it was going to be.
This one was actually harder for me to watch than the
it was
actual attempted rape.
Okay, I was going to say there was an attempted rape scene, but it wasn't a rape scene.
No,
so much. But yeah, this one was. I honestly
because of
thought,
fingernails and female agency,
and the eyeball gouge, which is a technique my mom used to teach when she did Citizens Against Crime. In the
Citizens
90s.
on Patrol.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's probably one of the things
We've
they
talked
say.
about it on the podcast.
But Mark has his buddies like come up behind her while they're talking in the hallway, tackle her, like bring her to the ground, roll her over, and he checks her back for the birthmark. And that's where he's like publicly shaming her. And he even says at one point, "Is it weird that I'm enjoying this more than what?" I was like, "Yeah,
yes,
weird.
it is weird."
Yes, to answer your question, it's weird.
You are a weird person, Bill Skarsgård.
So and that's when they break up.
You think they're broken up?
Can I ask, did they officially break up?
I mean,
Incorrect.
I don't think they ever decided not to go to prom together, but although they did call out Carrie at one point, and I think they were talking about Carrie from Carrie.
Oh,
yeah, that's what they're talking about because they were in the gym.
Oh my God, yeah, when they were lying on the gym room floor and they talk about Carrie, I was like, who the fuck is Carrie?
I said that in the movie.
It's legitimate because at that point I couldn't remember what 2 of the friends' names were, so I was like, well, maybe one of them's Carrie.
I know. I was like, who the? And they introduced 2 more girls in that scene.
Yeah.
So in like the next scene, it's revealed that the hotter of the 2,
the blue-haired more
the
blue-haired lady
cheerleader was sending the other girls nude selfies to her boyfriend or whatever.
I got very confused by that. This is the Batgirl?
Yes.
Is that what we're getting
Batgirl.
into?
Batgirl,
which you know is Judd Apatow's daughter. Right?
I didn't know that, nor do I care.
Was the Batgirl the other girl that you guys are talking? Okay, thank you. Because I got all the white girls
so
look
quickly.
the same.
Yes, it's established so quickly that in that scene where they're laying on the gym room floor, there are 2 girls that are introduced in that scene. One is the hot cheerleader, and one's the almost as hot cheerleader. And the hot cheerleader was sending the almost as hot cheerleader's nudes to the hot cheerleader's boyfriend. It's very
Which was
confusing.
Bella Thorne, right?
Yeah,
I don't know any of them.
And I liked her a lot better. Well, I don't know. She kind of annoyed me when she was talking, but I saw her in the Scream show, and she really bugged me. That show bugged me too.
I hated her in this movie, but I was supposed to. It's the way she's talking. I think she does a good job of acting the way she's supposed to act, but I hated her character.
One thing I thought was hilarious was how sexual that cheerleading dance was, because that is not what cheerleading
That
is.
went on for a long time.
But that is what I think a lot
and also
of
the
guys
lights were off
in their
the gym.
minds think cheerleading is.
When
I was a cheerleader, that is not what we did.
When Batgirl, I'll have to see video just to verify that. When Batgirl drags the bat up and hits the other girl, the cheerleader over the head with it, all it does is it knocks her out.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill her.
And then she's covered in blood.
And then she leaves the gym.
Yeah.
Then the girl with the bat leaves the gym after only knocking out the head cheerleader, the hottest cheerleader or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
her head
the
was
bluest
covered in
hair
blood,
of the
The
cheerleader.
bluest haired cheerleader ever, right?
That's
and
how
then,
she got head cheerleader.
But the next thing you see is her being handcuffed and led out of the school with bloody hands.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Did she kill? Did we just not see her kill her?
Because the blood is on her hands.
I understand what they're trying to do, but we didn't witness
We
a
didn't
murder.
see
And I
blood
thought we
spatter
were going to
is what
see
we
a
needed.
lot more in that scene. And that's
Yeah,
kind of when I was
me
like,
too.
I thought
maybe
she was
this
going
isn't
to
gonna
end up
be a-
killing all the cheerleaders.
I did too. I
Or
thought she
at
was going to
least just-
beat the shit out of her.
Or at least beat the other one to death.
Like,
Not that
I thought
mean,
it was going to be Rob
If
Zombie's
you're going to go
Halloween.
for it, go for it.
Rob
Yeah.
Zombie's Halloween,
but,
man.
And then it even makes a comical sound when the bat hits her. It's like it's like a thing. Like it's like a
and then I
very
just heard like
high-pitched-
a lot
what
of Todd
aluminum
laughter.
sounds like.
because
right
it was
after.
hilarious.
And she just walked out.
Because she just walked out. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a murder. It was I knocked her out for doing this.
Yeah, and she didn't die.
Well, I
Was
think
that clarified?
No.
I don't
when
think
she's
it was.
being
I think at one
taken
point,
out.
she said, and I didn't even kill her.
Oh,
I
did she?
missed that.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that everybody was cheering.
That was.
Oh,
sort of-
yeah. They were like, yeah, we've hated her too.
But anyway, so that happens.
Is that the part where they're talking about how 10% are bad or mean and 10% are good?
Yes.
And the other 80% in the middle. And I think we see that in the everybody cheering as she's being dragged out in handcuffs. Is there, she's laughing and she's getting this praise for beating this girl because I'm sure she's probably a mean girl and everybody's just kind of, they're either getting dragged in like everybody in the auditorium when Carrie gets the pig blood dropped on her. They're not bad people. They're just going along with it because that's the easier
They're
thing
just
in the moment.
mob.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They become the mob and they just, because it's easier to do that than stand up to the mob.
Sure.
Also,
Yeah.
Bella Thorne, who was in that scene, the girl that got hit,
Yeah.
was in the Carrie remake. Boom.
Was she? Who was
Sure. One of the high school girls. I thought she was.
All right.
Oh, did she have a red
I
hat
could be
on?
wrong.
Oh my God, I'm out.
She's-
Pretty much the next thing we see is
Oh, she's going home to her parents.
yeah.
Yeah, because she's just been assaulted in the locker room, and then she gets assaulted by her mother.
Yeah, in a different way, but still assaulted.
Yeah, still same thing. Like she's
They
clearly
just
setting a
confront her, yeah.
boundary, and the mom is not listening, and she's saying, "Not right now, Mom. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't."
Because
do
she
this. I
was
can't."
literally
Super
just assaulted.
painful scene to watch.
God.
Yeah.
Great acting.
Yeah, I hated the scene.
It's another person who is not listening to her and not respecting her boundaries.
Her mom, yeah.
Her mother.
And then when she finally does tell her the truth,
Yes,
as her mom
she
is
gives
begging
in.
her to
She
do,
gives her what she
the mom
wants.
fucking drags her out of the house and locks her out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a horrible thing.
I know.
Anyway, like
Because
this,
she blames her when she
Yeah.
finally gives the mom
Yeah.
what she wants. The mom blames her for it.
Yeah.
And Corey, my husband, and I were talking about this on the way home too. They're like, yes, I don't think the mom is wrong to be upset about this.
No.
I think it's okay. Now, I do think she's wrong to drag her out of the house and
Oh
kick
my
her
God.
out,
The
knowing
moment-
how unsafe
the
Salem
moment-
is right now too.
well, I would say the way she tries to get the information out is wrong, but
yes.
I don't. Whatever. So yeah, she's a shitty mom. I'm just gonna say that.
Because here's when she should have started being concerned when her daughter started wearing these really revealing things.
Oh, it's too
and
late for
started
that.
saying,
I mean, that
well,
happens
okay.
before the movie happens.
Well, yeah, but that's what we were talking about.
Sure,
I was
sure,
like, are you just now concerned about this? Do
Yeah.
you just now start to realize that maybe this is all like maybe your you needed to have a conversation with your daughter about how
maybe-
she represents herself earlier than
Maybe that's the
this.
way the mom normally dresses, and she's like,
Yeah.
"I learned it from watching you, mom."
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she
You don't know.
stole all her clothes. Also, maybe that mom should have been a little more concerned with her fucking son.
Yeah, who is the hacker?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Completely overlooking
Yeah.
the son
Woo.
because he's a fucking nerd and there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, he's like walking around with his Slurpee, making his Slurpee slurps, like ruining everybody's lives.
Dude, you started laughing at that Slurpee shot when
It was fucking funny.
Yeah.
But that
It was
Slurpee shot
funny.
is like when the mom drags her out more or
She's
less by her hair, by the
screaming,
scruff
and
of
it's
her neck or whatever.
horrible.
And then
And
goes
she's
and
screaming.
shuts the
Yeah.
curtains and
Yeah.
then sits with the
But
dad
then
on the couch.
the brother comes to like let her in or whatever. And he's like drinking this huge fucking icy from like 7-Eleven, and then sees the mom, and the mom looks at him, and he's like slowly backs away more or
Yeah.
less. It was
funny.
It was funny.
My brother has walked in on some conversations I've had with my parents like that and just been like, okay,
Yeah,
I'll talk
I'm
to you guys
leaving.
later.
Yeah.
So now she's got to walk away. So now she's assaulted by another person. This is a total stranger. So she's walking down the street and this person now, she's
God,
getting
this
all
scene
these
was
friend requests.
bizarre.
Yeah, it was.
Just bizarre.
Well, the end of it was bizarre. I don't
No,
think
the end of it was
beginning
justified.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about the frog.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
that
forgot
was
about
weird.
that.
Yeah.
That shit was weird as
That
fuck,
was-
but it was
That
funny.
was weird.
I'm not sure what they were trying to say with
But
that
anyway,
frog.
this Trans Am from the 80s pulls up, and this dude's like harassing or haranguing her, if you will, because of all the pictures they've saw, and now that they know it's her, they're like, this is Salem's most famous slut or whatever. They chase her. Like, she starts to run away from them, and she's like, I don't want to talk to you or whatever, and she starts running away. And then he, like, gets a knife out, although she doesn't see that. Yeah. But she does the right thing when she runs to the behind the house, or almost to behind the house. She runs behind, grabs the shovel, and out of nowhere, just as the guy's running after her, pops out from behind the...
That was a cool kill.
Yeah, like a shed or something. She pops from behind it and smacks him right in the face. I don't know if she killed him, but she knocked him the fuck out.
He looked pretty fucking dead.
Because he was awake looking at her, and she was like, she didn't hit him again, but she definitely could have.
And that other friend...
What the fuck?
I don't know what that
some kid, and then the friend wasn't there. I guess the friend stayed in the car. It was really weird. And then there's this strange dialogue about, like, you would be shocked at how many people would think to kill you. They would go from this thought process of, like, slut-shaming you to wanting to murder you.
And both of you in the theater said, no. And
yes, all the men in the row were like, not me. Well, granted, we never really get to stage one of that, so we wouldn't know, I suppose.
Okay, but here's the point. Just because you guys do not think that way doesn't mean that other men don't. And that is something that's, I think, is easy for me to see. Yeah.
I've just never seen that in media. I've never seen that in movies. I've never seen that in television.
I've never heard a guy be like, oh, this chick sent me a naked photo. Let's fucking kill her.
Well, yeah, because that's not what they say out loud.
You think anyone actually thinks that?
Yeah. No.
This chick sent me a naked photo. I want to go kill her?
No.
That's not what they want to go do.
Because it's leading to that. And it's not that they have sent her a naked photo. It's if you have seen a naked photo of someone, there are certain men who will take the fact that this woman was allowing herself to be taken a picture of that way as, well, if she'll show him, why not me?
And then when she doesn't, they get
to her body
angry. Okay.
Because they've seen her body, even though she didn't intend for them to see it. Yes. And they feel, and then when they won't, yes. And she's questioning his masculinity. She won't go along with what he wants. She doesn't smile at him in the right way. Yeah.
And he's like, where the fuck are you going?
Right. And so, the only reason I want to say that is just because I know you guys don't think that way, but there are men that do.
That also is not what you just explained is not what was explained in the movie.
No, it wasn't.
So what was explained in the movie was
the bridge to that was not part of the conversation.
Yeah, it was like when a girl sends a guy a naked photo, he then wants to kill her. That's what was established in the movie, and no one ever has thought that unless they're fucking like sociologically like should be locked up. I'm talking about very, very few people, like maybe 8 to 10 in all of the earth.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about why and when he wrote this?
I hope the male who wrote this movie is in a writing class.
Interesting.
Because it was poorly written.
The dialogue, I think, sometimes is what bothered me. I liked the story and I liked where it went, but the dialogue bothered me. But I haven't been around enough high school girls right now. I mean, how accurate is that dialogue? Is that what they actually sound like? I don't know.
She shovels the dude, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens next? Because pretty quickly it goes from like
1 week later.
Oh yeah, so it goes to 1 week later.
Now this and we've got is where the movie loses me because of that.
But this is when it won me.
Well, I get, and it's a coincidence. This is where we wanted to be. This is what we've been waiting for, right? Yes. But you fast forward through all of the logic. I didn't buy any of this.
Me either.
And there was they kept having this dialogue about where's the FBI? Yes, where is the FBI? Yeah. And nobody would answer that question within the context of the movie.
Yeah. There's also no police force to speak of.
There's no police
only
force.
Redhead cop.
There is now
you mean Piggy? There's only the Piggy
He's
cop?
the only one, and he's a part of the mob.
I'm not going to call him.
No,
they built that up because they built that up because he was a major creeper when he was stationed at the high school and was checking out the girls.
Yeah.
So we now have
a major dickhead when he was talking to Curly Pasta and was like, "Look at me when I'm talking to you, son." Woo!
I will say this: good casting on that guy.
Oh yeah,
and
that dude was sitting around waiting for this movie.
Oh yeah. Character actors, man, they don't get enough credit.
No, they don't.
Good job, Chuck.
That looked like a fatter...
Probably.
Chuck. It looked like a fatter Henry Zebrowski to me.
I don't know who that is.
Henry Zebrowski's a hilarious comic. You know who he is?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I guess you're right.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy anything
made,
that
Todd.
Henry Zabrowski's
Todd.
dad's a cop. That might have been his throwback to his dad.
Really?
Yeah.
An homage, if you will.
He's one of the guys on the last podcast on the left. I love that. I love that podcast.
And
They're
you
great.
said the script didn't have layers.
It doesn't. I'm reading way too much into it.
I didn't buy
Just
anything.
like a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't buy.
We're winning.
I didn't buy anything after this jump.
No, me either.
They started showing a couple of murders around town. They showed a lot of assaults. No one, like the police is just not involved. If the police is going to be in on it, that's one thing. But where the fuck is the FBI?
Yep.
Where is the National Guard?
Yeah.
There
Where's
are
the
procedures in place if this thing gets out of hand. I wanted to see it escalate.
But
is
Clint,
what I want.
This is a true story. It says that at the very beginning.
It is.
It's based on a true story.
I know. Yeah.
I
That is
needed.
what
I
would
needed
happen.
to see the escalation.
And
is
here's
what I
the
needed
thing.
to see.
I think that would have been interesting. Maybe that can be like a sequel or something. Like
I don't
what
think
happened
this
in
is
that
gonna
week.
get a sequel.
Yeah, it'll happen in like some Texas town next. Odessa.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to get a sequel.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't care. Like, the end of this movie was not very realistic. I don't care about that. There's another movie called Revenge right now that I have flipped out and like gushed about to both of you and everybody on social media, and it is so good. It's a rape revenge movie, and the end of it, it's gotten some criticism for not being realistic at all, and I don't care about that. I don't need it to be realistic because I think the point of what it's trying to make with its unrealisticness is more important to me than if I believe that they actually know how to shoot those guns. I don't care. I don't care where they got those raincoats. You know, I don't care that they all had them on at the same time on
established that.
accident. They did?
Yeah.
Because it was because of the movie?
Yeah.
I didn't
They-
get that
they-
either. Where were the
I
coats?
neither.
They were. I don't know what movie they were watching, but in the movie,
Samurai something.
Sure, but in
Yeah.
the movie there were 5 women in red coats, almost just like
no, I
theirs.
saw that, but
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about like I don't need to
Where
see them
did
go
she
to Walmart
They were
and
just
buy
get
them.
the
That's what
coats?
I'm
They went to
saying.
Amazon 6 years ago when they fell in love with this movie, and they bought fucking red leather trench coats.
I'm getting a red leather trench coat.
I mean, I'd wear it.
I think I'll like maybe cut
I'd
some of the
look
sleeves off or
great.
something. You can kind of tailor it so it looked like a Civil War jacket, like a red vinyl Civil War
get like
jacket.
the Napoleon. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
laddie.
I'm into it.
Yeah, okay, but here's my point is I don't care about that because what I care more about is the point it's trying to make, and if it needs to go to these extremes to make that point, that's fine with me.
I mean,
Right.
they don't seem phased at all. For
No, they don't.
murdering people for the first time.
And that's
Right.
I don't care. Yeah, okay, so we're 1 week later. We've got a scene ripped out of The Purge with not so cleverly disguised Joel McHale leading the charge and
Yes.
cop running around just grabbing people. And
Right.
this was a part that, like when they're all at the sister's house. Nance is the mom. They're there, and I thought this was a really effective part of the movie when you see everything from outside and you see all of the men come to get the sisters.
Some good directing.
Yeah. Oh, did we talk about how they have waterboarded Curly Pasta now?
We haven't yet. Yeah.
Yes.
So they waterboarded Curly
Yeah.
Pasta,
Which
and they got him to say on camera that it was Lily who was
Yes.
the hacker, and that she confronted him, confessed to him that she was the hacker, and that she blackmailed him into making him not tell anybody. Now,
Yes.
none of that is true.
No, it's not.
And
But he
then
was
they
being
killed him.
tortured.
Right, and then
then
they
they
do
kill him
kill him,
anyways,
but they kill
yeah.
him after. You see him get killed, but
You
the video they
hear
put
it.
online, right? The video they put online
Cuts before they
cut
kill
out
him,
before
yeah.
that part,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So I don't think she knows that.
Right,
he's
but that's
dead.
why everyone starts to go to the sister's house, and they
Right.
start to go after them.
Yes.
and that's the scene where we're talking about. It seemed like the camera was all outside on a track.
Yes, and it was
going
really
around,
cool, and it would
was-
go up and down.
Yep.
And it would show what all you'd just keep seeing these red raincoats
It was
walking
cool.
around doing
and it was them
stuff.
trying to set the alarm, but different sections they couldn't set it because
Yes.
different sections were open. Even at one part, Zone 4 unarmed
yeah,
or whatever,
unable to arm.
Yeah, and then she's
unable
like,
to
"Mom,
arm.
which one's Zone 4?
Yeah.
Sliding glass door," and she goes in, and then like each girl gets taken more or less.
They're mob men.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
But
need
they
to
all
know
have
there.
different masks on.
Yeah.
It's not really important, but we kind of bypassed that locker room scene where they all get fired up. The
Oh,
guys
Slam
in
High?
the
Yeah.
guys in the mask riding around in that truck kept saying the catchphrase that they were saying in
Slam high.
Slam.
high.
What is it?
Slam high.
Okay, because they
Slam
repeated it
high.
1,000 times. I
Yeah.
still could
It was
not
on the-
understand what they
it
were
was on
saying.
the guy's jacket. That's
Okay,
The only
thank
reason
you.
I knew is because it was on the guy's jacket. I was
Right.
like, oh, That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway,
And,
so
you know.
Bex gets away. She gets attacked by a guy with a
Yeah,
nail gun,
dude,
and they
in
fall
the
into the
pool,
pool.
and it is awesome. And she
struggles the nail gun
overtakes
away
him
and kills
just
the guy. Yeah.
nails
Yeah,
him a
that's
bunch.
pretty awesome.
And then nails him a bunch. And then Lily gets away.
Yes,
but
Lily
the
gets
cop
away.
is like driving around with them in the car.
And the mom, this part
The mom,
really
yeah,
upset
that was
me
tough to
because they're
watch. Yeah, the
screaming,
mom gets killed.
mom, mommy,
Yeah.
and she's shooting a bunch of people because
The
Lily almost
mom's
gets
the
taken.
reason they're
Yeah.
able to get
Exactly,
out.
because
Yeah.
Lily is about to get taken, and the mom shoots the guy. And
That was
gets
pretty
shot
badass. I thought she was
herself.
going to kill everybody.
Oh, dude, me
She
too.
John Wicked the people who were in her house for
She
sure.
does kill quite a few
Except for that
people.
she got shot. John Wick would never get
And
shot.
then she just gets shot through the wall too.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
remember seeing that in the trailer, so I think in like the 10 seconds before it happened, I knew it was coming. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, but I liked her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
like
that
her
was
until
sad.
that scene. There wasn't much to her until that
There
scene.
there really wasn't.
I
yeah.
didn't get a good look at this, but what were they trying to hang her daughter from? They had
The-
her hung up on
I don't
something.
think she
Curtain
was.
rod?
Yeah, I don't think she was hung. I think they just tied her hands to it so she couldn't
Yeah.
move.
I think she was hanging from it though.
Well, she was.
Yeah, I
don't
thought
know
she
if
was
her feet were
dangling like
touching
she
the
couldn't
ground.
touch the
By her
ground.
hands.
Yeah, but I don't think they were trying to
Not
hang
by
her
her
by
neck.
the.
No,
yeah,
which
Which
actually
we
they
do
try
need
to
to point
do
out.
later with
With
somebody
Bex.
else. Yeah.
And
I
then
don't
Piggy Cop throws him in the back of the squad car.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at this point, Lily goes to Joel McHale's house.
Yes, and Joel McHale's being nice to her and like, okay, I'll take care of you. It's fine. So, like, I believe that she really did. You know,
He
I
takes
didn't
her
think
up
she was
to his
dumb.
daughter's room,
Yeah.
gets a towel, starts borderline molesting her
Get
under the
sponge
guise of
bathing her.
cleaning her off.
Yeah,
right?
the blood off of her.
Yeah, it gets real touchy-feely, and Joel McHale is saying some real weird shit.
Yep. She's saying no. She's saying I'm
Right.
not into this. She's making that very clear.
Oh
so,
yeah, consent
so
is
then-
clearly not given.
Oh yeah. So then he gets his knife out, and things escalate. But he continues with his advances, and then once she's like, "Well, fuck, he's gonna kill me if I don't do this, or he's gonna do
I
some
think she
really bad
does-
stuff with this knife."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She's like, "Okay,
Yeah, she plays along.
I gotta have another plan."
Well,
Smart move.
She plays.
Yeah.
I think she plays it right. Although
Yeah.
it's super dangerous because he has a knife on her.
He does.
And
Yeah.
he, like.
Although, what's more risky? She's playing. She's
Oh, I'm
doing
not.
something.
I'm
yeah.
not saying she should have let herself get raped.
I thought
Exactly.
that
I'm
I
just
thought
saying
that
it's
she
risky.
stabbed him with the knife.
No,
she stabs him with
digs. She digs her nail into like his eye. He sort of rolls off her and grabs his eye, and she runs into the bathroom. That's when we find curly-haired hacker is in the bathroom.
Yes, because she
dead.
tries to hide in the bathtub
Yes.
and she just straight up falls on him, and there's blood all over the bathroom
Yeah, because that's where
floor.
they killed him. And
Yes.
he runs to the door, is trying to beat down the bathroom door, and she does a makeshift soap shiv. And,
Almost like you've said it
Makes
before.
your soap shiv.
This part was kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
so
I thought it
he-
was gonna be a lot more brutal, and I'm kind of glad it wasn't.
It was pretty
Yeah.
graphic,
I thought
it was
not
gonna-
brutal.
It was
yeah.
pretty graphic when she just kept slipping in the blood and
Yeah.
Well, and then
fell on the
slices.
body.
So the music's doing a good job of setting up this like
they're
fight
showing the
between them.
look on the door,
Yeah.
him like
And
crowbarring
then
the
it pops.
door. Yep.
And then he jumps in the room and tackles
Gets
her to
on
the
top
ground.
of her,
and
she
then
slips
she
and they
swipes.
fall.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
swipes his throat, and that's it for him.
Yes, and he just bleeds to death on
On her,
top of
yeah.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, grab that knife.
Well, she doesn't need to grab the knife because she goes downstairs and sees the mess of guns.
Oh yeah.
That's where they get. That's where she gets
But
all the
she-
guns.
They're all organized in a creepy way too.
They
Yeah.
are. They're like laid out and I think like some of the guns spell America,
It's like Joel McHale has OCD for sure.
Oh
with
yeah,
guns.
he spray painted some of them with like red, white, and blue stars and little sparklies on
And
them.
anyway, so that's when. Well, the next time you see her is really silly, and that's like
no, dude.
she broke
You
into
guys
the
thought it
dry
was
ice
silly?
factory.
And this was the point where I said, I'm not going to let them ruin this for me. This is awesome.
Because you deep down you knew it was silly.
No.
Why
because
why
I
else
don't-
would you ask yourself
No,
that?
because I
It
heard
just doesn't
you
need to
guys
make sense to
laughing.
you. It just doesn't need to make sense to you.
No,
Because
it
you're-
doesn't. I don't
know.
care how.
I know.
This was just a very easy
And I'm-
fix, not have the red coats
And
on.
No, dude.
No,
love
the
the
very
coats.
easy fix would be not have the red coats on and don't have the smoke machine right next to her.
Yeah, it was weird.
No,
Because she's
I don't care.
outside,
I love it.
and I know, but
So
it's
much
fucking
missed.
Stupid.
That
I can
wasn't there before.
understand
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
you guys did not
Yeah.
buy it the way I did. That's fine. I
Because
yeah, I
you've
don't-
been brainwashed by a man to like this movie. But yeah,
No, I'm trying to be brainwashed by two men to not like this movie.
no, I'm not trying to convince you to not like this movie.
We're just telling you not to like it.
No, I mean,
We're
I
just
think
explaining why what you think is stupid.
this isn't a horror movie.
We've been
Okay,
talking.
but here's
we'll
the
talk
thing.
about it.
I don't care how she learned how to shoot a gun. I don't care where she got the raincoat. I don't care about samurai swords. It was awesome. I loved it. I wanted to go
Okay,
put on
cool.
a raincoat.
If you're
going
gonna do that, I needed 20 minutes more of that, and I thought we were gonna get it. And we didn't get it.
And I don't, and I'm okay with not having it.
Anyway, so she comes out of the dry. She walks through the smoke machine smoke
Yeah.
and kills the cop. who's the fucking stupidest cop ever.
He's like, hey, little girl, what you got with that gun? She's like,
yeah. Anyone
like
pointing a
Hamilton's
gun
film.
at anyone. I don't care if they're not trained in how to use it. That's
the gun
a
is
threat
always
to you.
loaded. Yes.
And this fat fucking cop is like, oh, you're a woman with a gun. How silly that could be.
Now,
and then,
and
of
I don't
course, he
think
gets shot through the heart because
And
you're
you're
too
too
fat
lame.
and you're fucking
Oh.
stupid.
Maybe he just likes like donuts.
No, he does like donuts and gout. Watch out for my foot.
Oh.
He's so dumb. Anyway,
Okay, so the ghost.
so he's dead. She runs up.
She
and
saves
then
the girls from
she
the
runs up
car.
and gets the
Yeah.
two inconsequential girls.
They're not fleshed out with the
Yeah.
story. The movie does not take them seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I think it takes them seriously. It
the
doesn't
movie
give you the.
does not give us information
It doesn't
about them,
take the
so
time
we
to explain
don't
them.
have
Yeah,
information about
right.
them. Yeah.
But anyway, they become
And so now they become the three ninjas.
the 3-woman hit squad, right?
Yeah. Ooh, and it's awesome. And they're walking with
But
their
that's
socks
when,
and stuff.
But that's when
and
we
I
see where
love
Bex
it.
got off to. Bex
Yeah.
is now handcuffed into the back of the truck.
Yes.
And that's when they say
Oh.
they tell Diamond to tie the noose around her neck
Dude.
and hang her.
No, it
Though
doesn't.
we've seen it in the previews of all four of them walking in the street, so I knew
Exactly.
none of them were
That's
going to
what
die.
I told myself too.
I also
was
knew
like,
she's gonna be fine, too.
And he says, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I think he takes his mask off.
He does.
Because I don't know if she knows who
This
it
is his
is at
redemption
first.
moment.
This is, and she's like, I don't want to die.
Well,
His
they had been
being
calling
done.
him. We, as an audience member, knew who it was because they had been calling him a pussy the whole movie, and they were like, "Pussy, get over here!"
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
But I don't know
Yeah.
if they. I don't know. And then he took his mask off, and Todd went,
Shocker.
"Oh no!" Which I hadn't even really been thinking about it because I'd forgotten that guy
Oh, yeah.
existed. But
But it is shot to be like some audience members are going to be surprised, right,
I
guys?
don't know.
Right?
I don't know if they're trying to make it a surprise,
I
to
don't
be
think
honest
so
with you.
either. There was one moment when they were attacking Lily in the bathroom too, and it like showed the face of one of the friends, and he kind of had this sorrowful look on his face, and I think that and this Diamond thing is like not all guys are like this. Hey. Guys, ladies understand that not all men are terrible.
You know,
That's not
We
what
might
patriarchy
think
is.
about hanging you, but we'll change our mind.
Oh my God! Did someone send you a naked photo and you wanted to kill her?
Yeah, that was
Oh
your
my
immediate
God.
thought.
So Diamond decides he's not going to do it.
Yeah,
he stands
he's
up and says,
like-
"I'm not going to do this."
Mhm.
And the
he's
guy
like-
goes, "You have to do this. She humiliated you." And he goes, "No, you humiliated
Yes,
me."
and I loved that part.
Yeah,
The
I
other
know
part
you
was
did.
a little cheesy, but I liked that part.
Yeah, that part was cheesy too, but it wasn't whatever.
So
Anyways,
he won't do it, and this like toxic leader man won't do it either. He's trying to get
yeah,
other people
He's
to
like
do it.
John Travolta in Carrie trying to get his buddy to hit the pig with a sledgehammer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be the leader of all this stuff, but he doesn't actually want to get any blood on
Yeah.
his hands and have to actually do the hard stuff himself.
But I mean, well, we don't see who strings her up, but Bex does get strung up.
she does.
and
She's
that's
standing in
where-
the truck bed.
And it's like screaming for someone to
Yeah.
help her. And that's when the 3 girls come up, start
Yep.
shooting
Start shooting
everyone
all the
by the
guys.
truck except for Bex. And eventually they do kill everyone, save Bex,
Yeah.
and then they just go on
And
a murder
it takes
spree.
a while because for a minute I was like, how they do have surprisingly good aim, and that was one. But then they just shot the truck
They
forever.
don't have surprisingly good
They
aim.
don't.
They
They
don't.
don't. And I
But,
was happy about
like
that.
they would run out, stop. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was fine with their shooting abilities because
I
they
was
were
too.
not great shots.
Yeah, but they just shot forever and
Yeah.
ever, and they're like, if you come out, we'll stop shooting. And you're like, you're cunts. And so they're like, okay, well, let's keep shooting.
Yeah.
And eventually they get down, and once everybody is dead, Leader Man decides to surrender himself. I thought he was going to try and trick them, and he had like a gun behind his back or something, but he doesn't. He's like begging Bex not to kill him, and
they
she
don't.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And then Diamond comes up and they have this weird moment where he just like skips down the street after talking to Bex.
Yeah. he's
She
like,
wanted more in that
thanks.
scene, but her
Thanks for
face was really
not-
funny when
Yeah.
he was like, "You're not gonna get
And
it."
that was a little bit awkward for me. I appreciate that they gave him a redemptive arc and that they showed her as a more like compassionate character.
I don't think they needed that little meet cute between them at the end.
I
I think he had his redemption moment already.
It didn't ruin the movie for me, though. It didn't take me out of it or anything.
No, I was out
you
of this
guys
movie
took me out
a
of
while
it while
ago.
laughing at it, but
It was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
it was not one of the
But that's-
strongest points of the
That's
movie.
pretty much
I'll
the
give
end
it.
of the movie, right?
No.
Then they had the
no.
then they had the ending
Then
monologue
they make
where
the fucking video, which I was like, yes. And I've seen a trailer that had all of this, and I think I sent it to you guys because I was like, yes, this is awesome. It's like everybody's trying to tell us what to do. Then we get told this and this and this and this, and you can be that and you can be that, and you have to be this and you have to be that, and we're not going to be that anymore, and we're going to go fuck with you. You know,
There was
We're gonna
definitely
be
a
who
call.
we want to be. So they're all walking, and it shows all these girls in their house, and they're watching it, and then they start walking behind them, and they're walking up to this mob that all has masks on, and they're all pointing their guns.
Everyone join our murder spree.
And there were women on the mob side and the.
Yes,
It's definitely a massive call for a sequel.
They're not going to
get.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were women in that mob scene, and that is something that I want to clarify about the patriarchy, because I have and I'm going to say it quickly, but the patriarchy is not all men. All men are not what the patriarchy is. The patriarchy is a system that men and women feed into. Not all men, not all women. But that's why I think it's important to show that women were just as abusive to these girls as men were. That is the end, well, almost the end of the movie. And I thought we were going to have a big, bloody, brutal scene. And now that I think about it, I'm kind of glad, because I don't want to know if any of them got killed. Like, I want to see them stand up, and that's all. And I can imagine the rest of it. And then we see the son, and this is the reveal that the son was the hacker the whole time. And okay, so we cut to the mom, and they're talking about the mom, like, well, definitely a murder conviction. And I thought they were talking about Lily at first, that she'd gotten arrested for killing whatever.
I knew exactly what was happening.
Well, and then because Corey, my husband, had called it, he said pretty early, and I just wasn't thinking about it. I didn't care who the hacker was.
I never try and figure it out, but I knew who it was.
Well, did you notice the one line in there that was it was very telling?
Well, got mauled?
No, the father had said that Lily had survived, indicating that this was in the future.
Oh, yeah.
A couple days later.
No. Once they said that, then I realized. But when they were talking about the charges, I was like, oh, they arrested
Lily.
Right. But no, it's the son, and he said he did it for the lulz.
It's really, really dumb.
Yeah, but I also think the point that he's making a point with that, too. Like, this kid has all this power and has no clue about the long-term ramifications of everything.
Sure.
Yeah. I didn't hate it.
But that's the end of the movie.
That is the end
I
of
had
the
to
movie.
pee really bad, and I left like immediately when the credits came up.
Yeah,
Did
and you
anything
missed the
happen during the
marching
credits?
band.
You missed a very, very
Awesome
fucking
marching
weird.
band scene.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
was
I mean, I've been in
that?
enough weird marching band moments in my life. I didn't need to be a part of it.
Oh,
So
Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved the marching band scene at the end, and I wanted to stay for the whole
was so
thing.
yeah, I had to.
And
I had to
so
bounce out.
goddamn
and I wanted to
bizarre.
go buy a Red Bull before we
it
recorded
did
this.
not fit in with the rest
It
of the movie.
was
I'm
weird.
sorry.
I just liked the song. I just wanted to hear it because I like marching band.
All right, so that's the end of the song. So we
That's
don't have box
the end
office
of
on
the
this because it
movie.
just came out.
It's gonna make $1 billion.
We weren't the
guys.
only people in there, but when
We
we
weren't.
walked in, the theater was completely empty, and I took a picture of it because I wanted to send it to
Oh
Clint before we got
God,
there.
that's funny.
Because it was real funny. But there were people there. It was the
There
night
were.
it opened, and it's a very small budget movie.
It'll
so
open a solid number 5.
It's projected to be
it?
11 this weekend.
But I think it will live longer. I think that this movie is saying a lot of things that I think we are going to continue to talk about and continue to use this movie. Hey, and a lot of people are going to hate this movie too, but I think this movie is going to be talked about along with The Purge and along with the cultural moment we're having right now.
I think it would have benefited much more being released on Netflix, having a bigger splash.
Yep.
I think
That's just
I
me.
could see that.
Yeah.
But it'll be on Netflix pretty soon. All right, do you want to scary scale it?
Yeah. Because I don't have a ton of fun facts.
Well, I mean, it just came out. What fun facts?
Yeah,
could
I
you
mean,
have?
Exactly. And
yeah.
I did look for some stuff.
Explain the scary scale.
Okay, so our scary scale is a system we use to measure how scared we were by this movie. It's a scale from 1 to 10. Our example of a 1 movie is Ghostbusters, and our example of a 10 movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And just to note, this is not the quality of the movie that we're ranking. This is how scared we were when we were watching it.
Right. I'm going to say 0.
0. You can't say 0.
I'm going to say 0 because
No.
this isn't a horror movie.
I'm writing a 1.
I'll allow it.
Yep.
I was gonna give it a 2 just because
You
of the
gonna give it a
disturbing
2?
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me-
It was. I found it very disturbing.
To me,
Mm-hmm.
Predator, which we watched earlier this week.
The Predator?
No, Predator.
It's The Predator.
I'm out.
Oh.
I've only seen one.
Boom. Arnold Schwarzenegger's the first.
I've
is
only
Predator.
seen
Just
this
Predator,
one. I didn't
yeah.
see any of the ones before this. That movie is more of a horror film than this is.
Well, I mean, I think Predator is in the horror umbrella.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, okay, but let me say,
an action movie
that's
with
why
aliens.
you don't differentiate the titles of your movies with an S and with a the and with bullshit.
What if the S has a dollar sign?
Okay,
through it?
that I will give it.
I'm on
Yes,
board for that.
then you're
All right,
sitting on
so
a gold mine.
you give it the scary scale. What
I'm
do you
giving
got?
it a 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, this movie I was triggered by this movie.
It warned you.
Yeah, it did warn me, and I knew what I was getting.
I thought the
was-
trigger warning was more for guys.
No, it was for girls. I
Clearly
mean,
it wasn't.
maybe for girls too. No, maybe for guys, but I think it was for girls too. Like they showed rape. They showed attempted rape. They
Attempted.
showed
Yeah.
I mean, the impact is the same. Yeah, it was triggering. You know.
Okay.
It was effective for me. I was scared for those girls. I was scared as a parent. I was scared for when my kids are in high school. You know.
All right.
Yeah, 4. Boom.
All right. What's next week, guys?
Next week, Evil Dead.
Is it?
Yeah, it is Evil Dead.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah, speaking
The
of
remake.
The remake, yes.
We will do the original trilogy at another time, but
Yes.
it's time to watch something really fucking
scary. Yeah.
We want to scare the shit out of Todd.
If you have not had enough of terrible awfulness happening in a bathroom, watch Evil Dead with us.
It's super gross. You're going to gag a lot. It's going to be the best.
Oh my God.
Happy
Jane
October.
Levy. Yeah,
We're
dude.
getting into October. We're going to bring the mainstream stuff in October.
We are. We're going to kind of let go of our A, B.
Just for October. Bring the goods.
But if you want to read the
pain.
Necronomicon, go to audibletrial.com/horror virgin.
I don't know if they do have the
don't
Necronomicon.
have
You
it
know
on.
what they do have? Lots of Stephen King stuff
They
to
do.
read.
Cool. Audibletrial.com/horror virgin. 30 days free and a book to get you started. If you're listening to us on the Modern Horrors podcast feed, we are a member of that network and they are awesome. If you haven't checked them out, they've got Final Girls. They've got the
Got
Modern
a little
Horrors
something for
podcast.
everyone.
Yeah, they
Right.
do. If you like horror, you will like everything on that network.
Yes. If you're listening to us on that stream, subscribe to our feed so you get it on Monday instead of listening to it on Wednesday. You get it 2 days earlier. Awesome. Remember to follow us on socials at Horror Virgin on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Jenn Ferratu is on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
I am Todd J. Awesome
Yep.
on Instagram and Twitter. Clint is not on the internet, guys.
Yeah, hey, and we want to hear from you too. What did you like this movie? What did you think of it?
Did
you
know this
agree
movie
with us?
existed before this podcast came out? If you didn't, are you planning on seeing it after listening to it? All of
Yes,
these questions.
those
I
answers
want
should
to
all
know.
be yes.
And if you do wander into a theater thinking that this is Ass Nation, it is not.
No.
Some of those theater guys are having fun.
Yeah.
How did you make it all the way through this podcast without calling it Ass
Because
Nation?
you asked me not to
Oh,
do
that's
that.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I did.
I was going to call it Ass Nation the entire time.
and you thought I might like get my nail gun out.
I'm just trying to be nice. So yeah, I think that's going to do it from us though, right?
Yes, that's it.
I'm Clint.
I'm Jenn.
I am the Virgin Todd.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
We need a marching band now.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay.